John, one of the things that we deal with on a daily basis is kind of counseling our clients on. They get phone calls. They want to know why so many people are calling them. What the calls are for, and most often the calls, kind of center around fraud. People trying to, engage them in a conversation. A lot of times it involves them changing their plans. We work on that daily. People call up, say, "Hey, I got a new plan." And once we tell them, "Well, look, I didn't switch your plan," they're kind of dumbfounded, like, "How did that even happen?"
Right.
Well, it's because you answered the phone from answered a call from a number you don't know, and often they're always claiming to be from organizations that are just trying to help them, But Medicare fraud is one of the bigger issues we deal with, and so we try to, when we meet with people in the beginning, we try to tell them, "Look, this is going to happen. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Your number's public. Your information is public. People know you have Medicare." And so we do our best to try to counsel them a little bit on being diligent about what information they give out and who they give it out to. But lo and behold, we get these calls on a daily basis saying, "They got me." They got me.
Oh, yeah, it's sad. I think on a monthly basis, you and I and several other folks that work in our industry, we have to try and fix these issues when they get bait and switched or whatnot on the phone. And sometimes there's no election period that allows us to switch them back to their plan.
Well, they're not.
And then they're just kind of stuck till next January.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize that when they say yes on the phone.
Yeah. And what the bad thing is, it puts the burden on us because we're supposed to be there to help our clients. And we do. We help them to best of our abilities. Sometimes you just can't do anything about it. And that's why we constantly tell them, "Hey, be careful about who you speak to." And we're not telling you not to talk to anybody. Certainly you get sales calls, but you got to be careful who you talk to and what information you give out. One of the bigger ones that has happened, and I forgot how many years back it goes back, where they took the Social Security numbers off the Medicare cards.
Right. That was about 5-6 years ago.
And they put a random set of letters and numbers on there, and that was to prevent people from giving out their Social Security number.
Right.
Which it did achieve that.
Now what are they doing?
Yeah. Well, now they're calling up saying, "Hey, there's new Medicare cards out. Yours is now invalid. We need your social so we can make sure to get you the right card." So number one is Medicare is never going to call you and ask you for that information to provide you a new card. Because in order to get a new card, you got to be able to either log in online, complete some information and request a card, or you have to call up Medicare yourself and provide them, some information that validates who you are and to, request that card. So again, Medicare is not going to call you for that. And the other thing is that to receive an official letter from Social Security to arrange a phone interview to change a card. So, again, you got to understand the process. It'd be easy for me to call somebody and say, "Hey, this is Michael Wright. I'm calling from Medicare. We realize you have an invalid card. We want to get you the correct card." Well, as a senior or as a person on Medicare, they feel like, "Oh, they're here to help me. They're going to get me the right card." But you got to understand that you probably have the right card and you have, a unique set of numbers and letters assigned to you. So they're just trying to get to your information because one piece of information leads to the next. Okay, what is your social? Hey, what's your phone number? Can I verify your address? All those things are being done to kind of box you into a place where they want to collect all your information so then they can complete their fraud.
Right.
So, again, if you are on Medicare and you have a card, if it's got a set of, if your Medicare number is letters and numbers in a combination that's unique to you, you have the right card.
That's your new one.
If you have a card that has your Social Security number on, that's your old card. You should have received a new card way long time ago. Now, if you find that you only have the card with Social Security numbers, then I would suggest you call Medicare directly or Social Security and let them know, "Hey, I don't have my newest Medicare card." And that way you're controlling the conversation and you know that you called them. They didn't call you.
Right.
Because they're not going to do that. So, again, that's probably one of the bigger things going around right now is people claiming to be from Medicare wanting to issue you a new card.
Right. It happens. I had a client 2 weeks ago call, and that was the exact conversation. They wanted them to verify their Social Security card because they asked them, "Hey, did you get your new Medicare card in?" Well, these Medicare cards, the new ones were issued about 5 years ago. Not anytime soon. They don't send them out annually. So somebody calls claiming that you have a Medicare card, a new one that's coming out in the mail. That's not true unless you ordered one. But they're not issuing any new Medicare ID numbers right now. That's been done, and they're not going to issue any more new ones.
Why would they cancel your Medicare?
All right. So another common scam is, hey, Medicare is about to cancel your plan. We need to verify your information. And they do this, it's scare tactics, and it shakes people up, and people get vulnerable, and then they open up and give you information because they're scared. Kind of like the scams when there's like a natural disaster or something, and they're roofing people coming out, and they scare you and say, hey, we could do this, they can't do that, but we need to check today. And these older folks, they're vulnerable. They write them a check and they never see that person again. It's the same thing on the phone with Medicare. They're calling you and they want to shake you up, because when you get shaken up, you're not thinking straight and you give information out. A lot of times it's very personal information. It could be your Medicare number, your banking information. Hey, we want to call and verify your banking information. Medicare didn't get the premium last month because it looks like we don't have the right information on file. And they want your routing and account number. Do not give that out. Don't give out any personal information over the phone. If it's Medicare, they should have that information on the phone, first of all. And secondly, they're not calling you. When we call Medicare, we have to wait on hold. They're not sitting around with nothing to do saying, hey, let's call random people. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
They're working, and they don't do outbound calls. The only time they do an outbound call is if it's scheduled. All right. They're not just going to call you randomly. Hey, Medicare's on the phone. Social Security's on the phone. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And, also is that if you really think about it, your Medicare premium is coming out of your Social Security check
automatically.
So if you knew it came out, because most people pay attention to that charge coming out of that amount of money coming out of their account, they know when they get a debit out of that account. Right. So if you knew it was taken out on your last check, well, then you know that your premium's paid. But to be sure, you should call the Social Security Administration and say, hey, somebody sick called me and said that my premium wasn't paid. They can verify it for you right there. So again, they're not going to call you and do that. Now, they may send you a letter if there's a problem.
Right.
But again, that's how they're going to communicate. They're going to send you a letter. And also be careful when you get letters, because there's a lot of things that they can put on that letter that make it appear that it comes from Social Security or that it comes from Medicare just by putting some language in there. But you can tell if it's really from Social Security. And if you're not sure, call the number for Social Security. Don't call the number on the letter. Look up the number for Social Security Administration, call them directly and say, I got this letter. Is this correct? They will tell you, yes, we sent that to you because of this problem. But don't call the number on the letter if you're not sure that it's exactly from Social Security, because if somebody's trying to commit fraud with you, they're going to put the number they want you to call.
Right.
So don't call that number. Look the number up, call them directly, and just verify, hey, I got this communication. Did you send this to me? They will know if they send something to you.
Right.
So it's just being diligent about the information you get in the mail or by phone. I would almost tell you never divulge anything over the phone.
100% agree.
Eligible for a refund, John, how does that work when they call you and say, hey, you're eligible for a refund for overpayment of benefits?
So again, as previously stated, one of the tactics is to scare you, to get you shaken up. Another one is to get you excited, right? So they'll call you and tell you, hey, we overpaid you. We need to verify some information again. They want to verify your banking information. Hey, we need your Medicare ID number. What's your Social Security? Maybe your date of birth. And they'll piece these pieces of information together and they'll build a profile on you. All the while you're over here all excited because you think you're about to get $9,500 back or whatever they're telling you, because they overpaid you or underpaid you on your Social Security benefit, or they took too much money out for your Medicare every month and it built up and now you have this big lump sum. So they need that information to send to your bank account. So again, if they're telling you something that's going to get you real excited or telling you something that's going to get you scared, be cautious. Give us a call. Give your local agent a call. Whoever you're working with, call them and say, hey, these people just called me. Is this true? And we'll get on a three-way call if we need to and make some calls with you and verify if it's really happening or if it's false.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the refund goes right in line with you owe us money. It's the same tactic. They're just trying to use whatever language they can put to you that would allow you or encourage you to give them the information they need, like your social security number, your telephone number, your address, your bank account information, because everybody wants a refund, especially if you think they owe you something.
Right.
But if they tell you you owe them, that's even more of a red flag, because again, you're going to get a letter about that. The other one that comes up a good bit is you're pre-approved for cheaper or better plan.
Right.
I would say this would be the most common thing that our current customers call.
Yeah, or you qualify for, this food card and this over-the-counter, and a lot of them are absurd. They'll tell you get $1,000 a month in food. Come on now. Nobody gets that on their Medicare plan.
Yeah. Well, they don't listen to the whole conversation.
Right.
What they do is they remember what they see on TV about during open enrollment period, annual enrollment period about food cards. You can get $1,200 in food benefits, but they didn't pay attention. That was annual. So if you took $120 a month times the 12, that's where you get to that number. But, I guess you got to rely on your agent a little bit here. If your agent thought you were qualified for something, he or she probably would have presented it to you.
Right.
In the beginning. It happens daily where somebody will say, oh, they called me and said that I could get more dental on my plan. Well, the point is, it wasn't on your plan. They were trying to put you on another plan that maybe it did have better dental benefits. But overall, the plan doesn't work for you because your doctors may not be in the network.
Might not cover your medicines.
Drug may not be covered, or it's not a good plan overall for you. So again, you have to put a little bit of trust in your advisor, and we do a really good job when we sit down with somebody. We look at every doctor they've ever used or going to use. We look at any meds they've taken, past or present. We talk about any conditions they have that may kind of initiate some coverage need in the future, and we look at everything that would revolve around them having a plan that covers them the best. So when you get a call from somebody that is keying in on one item that it may be better, they know that, and they're just using that one thing to pique your interest about, heck yeah, I'd like to have an extra $500 or $1,000 in dental coverage. But what they're leaving out is maybe the medication deductible goes up to $590, or maybe that plan has a premium. There could be a lot of reasons, but they're keying in on the one item that's piquing your interest, and they know that. And these guys are professionals.
Yeah.
They know what's going to make you pay attention and go, heck yeah, I want a little bit more of that benefit.
I've got a good example of that. We have a local plan in our area. It's got a food card on it, but the hospital copayment per day is $1,995. And if you have outpatient surgery, it's $600. This is like absurd. This is like 10 times, 20 times what the national average is for a hospital copayment on a Medicare Advantage plan. But there's a food card on it, right? So you're over there all excited about the food card, and then the next month you go in the hospital, instead of paying $85 for a day, it's $2,000. That's some sticker shock right there, but they're not telling you all the negatives. They're just telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah. And that's, again, if somebody's going to go over a plan with you on the phone, to do a good job, they're going to keep you on the phone for almost an hour.
Right.
If they're going to be compliant and cover every single details of the plan. And that's what we do in-house. Or if we happen to get somebody on the phone, that one of our clients, we spend that amount of time because it takes some effort and time to go through the list of doctors, the list of medications. But when they're trying to rush you through that conversation and all they're doing is harping on that one thing that's piqued your interest, and they'll get you enrolled. And honestly, a lot of times I've had people that will say, well, I never signed up. Well, it's a verbal commit. You didn't sign anything. You verbally committed to changing your plan.
Right.
They have it on recording. So, they're masterful at getting you to say what they want you to say in order to change your plan. So, in my opinion, it's never a good idea to enroll over the phone unless you know who you're talking to or you solicited the contact. But if somebody just randomly calls you and says, hey, there's a better plan and I think this would be good for you, listen to what they have to say. But, if you have an agent, I would certainly suggest you end that call and contact your agent or whoever you're dealing with and say, do you know anything about this? And let them tell you, because then that's somebody you trust and that can handle your enrollment.
And they're going to look at it for your best interest as well.
Yeah. So you got to use a little bit of common sense. As much as you hear about scams over the phone, again, it's prevalent. Every day they're out there dialing. People say, well, I get 10 calls a day. Those are all scam calls most often.
Right.
So, we just try to really counsel them on, paying attention to who's calling your number. And if there's an option for you to put in a spam blocker on your phone, I have it on mine because I get spam calls. I'm Medicare eligible.
It cuts down on about 90% of those fraudulent calls.
Yeah. So we're really just trying to protect the seniors that we deal with on a daily basis. We're not trying to keep you from getting the benefits you want and deserve. We're not holding anything back. Again, if it's a benefit you're eligible for, we're going to be the first one to present it to you because we want to be the one that enrolls you in that plan. So, it's not that we're withholding information. It's just out there.
And again, if you hear something that just sounds too good to be true, or you think we didn't tell you about it, or you have questions about that particular plan, give us a call. We'll be more than happy to schedule a in-person review or a phone review for you and make sure that if that plan is available to you, that it works for you and covers every need that you have.
Yeah, I think that it would be one way that you can keep this from happening is if somebody gets you on the phone and you're interested in what they have to say, can I get your number to give you a call back? I'd like to think about it. And then either contact somebody else and verify that information, call your agent, call us. We're always, whether you're a client of ours or not, you're more welcome to call us and say, I received a call about this benefit. Is that a legitimate benefit? And do I qualify? We'll tell you.
Right.
Because we're not trying to keep you from that. Now, there's a group called American Senior Benefits. What do you know about them?
So they are a legitimate company. It's a large call center, but people are fraudsters are impersonating this company because they're so well known and acting like they work for them. And they're doing the exact opposite of what this particular company is trying to do. This company is actually trying to help people, and these fraudsters are trying to enroll people. They don't really care if it's the right plan or not. They're just trying to make a sale at any cost, and it's usually at the cost of you.
Well, if there's a lot of organizations out there that are genuinely trying to help people. So you just have to pay attention. Another one is senior aid helper scam calls. They'll call you multiple times a day, and you'll notice it because if you miss one, you'll get a call right back from a different number and a different number. And it's just a dialer system where they're randomly calling you, trying to get you to answer the call. But once you answer the call, they're going to ask you to speak about disability benefits. Well, number one, if you're not on disability, you're not getting disability benefits.
Right.
You're getting Social Security possibly. So all they're trying to do is get you to stay on the line or to call that number back, and you'll get a real person will answer the call, and they'll ask to confirm your identity, including your Medicare number, and or you respond with yes, and there's the key.
Yeah, there it is. Michael just said that word. So what they'll do, they'll say, "Hey, is this Michael, right?" And you say yes. Well, they record that yes, and then they'll do an entire presentation, and they'll take that yes at the beginning of the conversation and put it at the very end of the application. Do you agree to these terms and conditions to enroll in this plan? And they'll say yes, and they're using your voice, and that's a lot of times how you're getting enrolled in these plans that you weren't even aware that you're enrolled in.
Yeah, and
they're savvy.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what they craft their business
Crafty.
after. They are crafty. So the thing that we deal with and we try to avoid it is when we encounter some of our own customers that get switched, but from these tactics, many times we can fix it. Like if the plan has not gone into effect, we can actually have them contact the carrier that they got enrolled to and cancel it, and it'll put them right back where they were. So that solves the problem. Or
It
if
has to be done before it goes into effect.
yeah, because once it's enforced, that
There's
doesn't
nothing
work.
we can do about it.
If there is with a legitimate election period like annual enrollment, open enrollment, or even if there's a disaster declaration election period available, we can use all these things to kind of remedy this problem. But right now, as of today, June
9th,
9th,
there are no active disasters.
There's no active disaster codes in our area. There may be in some other areas. There's open enrollment is over. Annual enrollment is out. There's really no election code. So somebody called me today and said, "Hey, I don't know how I did it, but I got on another plan. I got my card in, and it was effective on June 1st."
Yeah, we're very limited on helping to get that problem solved or resolved.
Actually, we cannot fix it.
Yeah.
Until October 15th through open annual enrollment.
And that won't go into effect until when?
The only way.
January.
Right. The only way that somebody in that situation kind of remedy the situation right now is if they were to call Medicare and file a complaint against that company or that person.
We do assist with that. Medicare will call the insurance company, try to hunt down the individual that enrolled you in that plan and make a formal complaint against them. And sometimes Medicare can fix that outside of a valid election period.
Yeah, but they're the only ones that can handle that right now. So, it puts us in a position, even with our current clients, is that, hey, I can't do anything for you. I'm sorry you got taken. And again, let's not make that mistake again. You're going to have to deal with what you have for now. And then when open enrollment comes around, or annual enrollment, we'll get you switched to the plan you need to be on. But again, we want to help everybody. And it pains us deeply when somebody falls prey to this and there's nothing we can do to fix it. So, again, we're just letting everybody know, pay attention to these calls. Call us. Our number's 225-408-4100. Give us a call. If you don't know if what you've been given as information is correct, you don't have to be a customer. You can call us and we'll tell you if that's correct or not, and we'll help you, regardless. Just, be aware that not everybody's out there for your best interest, but, just pay attention to the mail and the phone calls you're getting, and don't let this happen to you.